True story inspiration. The origins of 99 Nights in the Forest are tied to a tragic but remarkable survival story. On May 1st, 2023, a small Cessna 206 plane caught fire mid-flight and crashed into the Amazon rainforest in Colombia. Inside were the pilot, a co-pilot, a mother, and 4 young children. The adults perished. The mother lived briefly after the crash but died soon after. Before passing, she taught her children everything she knew about survival: how to recognize edible berries, how to find safe water, and how to endure in the jungle. Against all odds, these 4 children, the oldest only 13, survived 40 days in the unforgiving Amazon before they were finally rescued. The game takes this story and twists it into something darker. Instead of enduring 40 days of hunger and isolation, the player must endure 99 nights against forces far beyond nature. Instead of snakes, jaguars, and the challenges of the jungle, you face cultists, laboratories, strange rituals, and a monstrous deer that stalks you endlessly. It takes a true story of survival and overlays it with layers of horror and myth, transforming human resilience into a nightmare of human corruption, science gone wrong, and supernatural vengeance. The deer. The deer is the heart of the lore, the creature everyone fears, the monster that defines the game. At first glance, it looks like a deer, but the similarities end quickly. It doesn't behave like prey. It doesn't eat plants. It doesn't flee when threatened. Instead, it becomes the predator, and humans become the hunted. The deer hunts only humans, never animals. Wolves, rabbits, and other creatures of the forest are ignored. This is what makes it unnatural. Real predators hunt for food. This deer hunts for reasons no one can fully understand. It watches at night, teleporting through the forest, appearing out of nowhere, and vanishing when you shine a light. Ranger logs describe seeing it standing upright, staring silently, almost as if it were part human. When the sun rises, it disappears, tied somehow to the darkness itself. Its symbolism is rich and layered. Some see it as twisted nature, a representation of the forest itself turning against mankind. It does not kill for survival. It kills to punish. Others call it the guardian of the forest, a supernatural being tasked with driving away humans who bring fire, guns, and tools into a place they don't belong. Humans, in its eyes, are the evil ones. There's also the theory that ties back to the real crash, that the deer is the spirit of the mother, haunting the forest. In this reading, the deer kidnaps children but never harms them. It takes them into its den to protect them from worse dangers. The design of the deer makes it even more mysterious. It has antlers like a crown of bones, a skull-like head, a body too long and limbs too stretched. It resembles myths from around the world. The Wendigo, a cursed human who became a monster after cannibalism, is often drawn with a deer skull and antlers. Skinwalkers, shapeshifters from native legends, are said to move unnaturally, with bent backs and stretched limbs, just like this deer. The horned god, a pagan symbol of untamed nature, also comes to mind, a figure that represents how wildness can create life, but also destroy it. The deer is not just an enemy in a video game. It is a collection of myths and fears brought into one terrifying form. The Cultists. The Cultists are the second major force in the forest, and they tie the lore together. Unlike the deer, they are human, but their humanity is corrupted, twisted by worship, obsession, or perhaps science. They wear masks that hide their faces, robes that mark their unity, and they attack any outsiders who enter their land. Their settlements are scattered across the map, altars covered in blood, strongholds filled with cages, and laboratories where experiments seem to have been carried out. The more you explore, the clearer the picture becomes. These cultists are not just worshippers of the deer. They may be the reason it exists. Some evidence suggests they summoned it through ritual, calling it into the world from another plane. Other evidence points to scientific experiments gone wrong, with cultists inheriting the labs and continuing the work in their own way. In either case, the deer and the cult are connected. The deer never attacks cultists, and they never attack it, proving that they are allies. The cult grows stronger over time. Early cultists wield simple axes. Later, you encounter those with crossbows, swords, and eventually heavy maces capable of devastating blows. This escalation shows that they are organized, capable of building weapons, and far more dangerous than mindless followers. Some structures, like summoning altars, suggest they view the deer as divine. Others, like experiment labs, suggest they see it as something they can control. Their motives may be split, half worship, half manipulation. But either way, they feed into the central mystery of the forest. The science lab One of the most chilling parts of the lore is the mention of a science lab at the edge of the forest. Ranger logs reference it, and exploring the map reveals structures that look less like shrines and more like facilities. These places are filled with cages, broken restraints, and the wreckage of experiments gone wrong. The theory here is that scientists once came into the forest and tried to manipulate nature. They experimented on animals, fusing traits together, testing genetics, or using chemicals and rituals to push boundaries. Something went wrong. The deer could be the result of one of these failed experiments. Not a natural predator, but a human or animal transformed into something unrecognizable. Its hatred of humans might come from this origin, seeing every ranger, hunter, or camper as a reflection of the scientists who made it suffer. The cultists may have been the scientists themselves, twisted by their own experiments. Or they may have come after, finding the abandoned lab and continuing the work in their own religious way. Either way, the lab ties the deer to humanity. It is not just a monster of myth. It may be a monster we created. The logs and diaries. The lore of the forest is not told directly. It is pieced together through notes, diaries, and logs left behind. These writings reveal not just what happened, but how people felt living under the shadow of the deer. Ranger logs describe seeing a deer standing upright and staring at them, silent and unblinking. One ranger wrote that he was chased all night, saved only by the sunrise. Another wrote that flashlights and campfires could hold the deer at bay, proving that light is humanity's only weapon. Hunters describe firing bullets at the deer, only to find them useless. The creature cannot be killed by conventional means. One hunter wrote that he was being stared at through his cabin window and that he didn't believe he would survive the night. Campers write in fear, describing how something follows them, moving unnaturally, glimpsed only at the edge of vision. They describe tall shapes, bent like broken humans, resembling deer but not quite. These diaries paint a picture of dread. The forest is not just a place of survival, it is a place of psychological torment, where humans realize they are prey and that they cannot win. Aliens and updates. The addition of aliens in later updates seems strange, but they fit into the theme of alteration. The developers stated that parts of the story are altered versions of the truth, and aliens likely fall into that category. They may not be literal, but symbolic. They represent the unknown, the things that cannot be explained. They may even represent the scientists, outsiders who tampered with the forest in ways that were alien to its natural order. Their presence only reinforces the idea that this is not an ordinary forest, but a place of mystery layered with threats both human and inhuman. The ending. After surviving 99 nights, the player sees a cutscene. The deer approaches the campfire, reaching out its hand. Just as it is about to grab the survivors, it retreats into a stone cave, disappearing underground. This ending suggests that the story is not over. The cave may lead to a second chapter, an underground world where the full truth lies. This is where answers about the cult, the science lab, and the deer's true origin may finally be revealed. Core themes. The lore of 99 Nights in the Forest is built on layers of meaning. At its core is the true story of survival, a tribute to human resilience in the face of impossible odds. But layered on top of that is horror. The deer represents many things at once: nature's revenge, a guardian spirit, a failed experiment, and the guilt of humanity's mistakes. The cultists represent the corruption of mankind, turning either to worship or to science, both leading to ruin. The science lab represents hubris, the belief that humans can control nature without consequence. The logs represent human fear, the voices of people realizing they are powerless. And the ending shows that the story is bigger than what we've seen, with deeper mysteries still hidden underground. In the end, the question the game asks is simple. What happens when humans step into a place they were never meant to enter? The answer is 99 nights of fear, survival, and horror. The forest is not just a setting, it is a character, alive, vengeful, and full of secrets we may never fully understand.